Hello, everyone. It's great to be here again. I held a workshop about email automation yesterday about what I'm about to present here, and I had 3 hours at my disposal to talk about everything. So today I'm going to try to compress everything in 45 minutes. My background, Stephanie did a great job of doing the introduction. But on top of owning an agency, I've actually owned e-commerce businesses in both Europe and in the US, and even a marketplace in the US that I bought, fixed up, and then exited by the fixer-upper business model in the US. And my thinking when it comes to email automation is always from a business perspective. I'm looking to have profitable businesses. And to that respect, why email? It's very simple. Customer acquisition costs, regardless if you're in e-commerce or if you're selling services, you still need to pay to acquire customers or visitors on your website. And that customer acquisition cost has been growing. The biggest problem was during COVID when, at least in e-commerce, everybody opened up an e-commerce store because everybody was staying home, and costs exploded at that moment in time. Google ads, Meta ads, they went through the roof. And soon after, even if the demand dropped, prices remained at that level. They didn't go down. In fact, they continued to increase. And if you do simple verifications online, this is direct from AI overviews in Google, you're going to see that TikTok ads, Instagram ads, Facebook ads, Google ads, they're going to give you a 2-to-1, 3-to-1, 4-to-1, maybe 10 or 12-to-1 ROI on your investment. So basically for every, let's say, $3 spent, you're going to get, for every $1 spent, you're going to get 3 in return on average. That's, for example, on the AI overview for Instagram ads. At the very same time, just default, email marketing continues to be by far the most profitable type of marketing you can do for your online business. And this is, again, 2026, and that's $36 to $45 for every $1 spent. And this is generally available data. I don't know how they did the numbers, but because we have over 100 clients today, and for the last couple of years, we do our own data analysis and statistics. And I can tell you that, first of all, AI revenue, email revenue that our clients generated in the last 5 years went from $7.3 million US dollars to $44.43 million US dollars in 2025. And one thing that we did do every single year, except for 2025 because it was just too much data, was that we calculated how much our clients paid for services. So the Klaviyo's of the world and others, how much they paid us, but what they would have paid us, they would have paid an internal resource anyway, an employee. And then how much revenue they generated through email marketing and marketing automation more specifically. And the ROI was always around 1 to 70. 1 to 68, 1 to 71, 1 to 69. And 2025, I don't have the number just yet for it right now. And what I want to actually point out over here is that for everyone in this room that uses AI, most likely your adoption of AI in your companies has more accelerated towards the end of 2023, beginning of 2024. That's when, at least us, we started to embed AI into every single process. And even though our agency didn't grow by, the amount that you see, it didn't double in manpower, the results that we got for our clients significantly increased. Our number of clients also didn't explode like the results that we got for them. So AI accelerates revenue, but only if it is used correctly. And what I'm going to be showing you today is not this, but I am going to be showing you how we use AI at every single stage of the process in order to get better results for our clients. And I'm going to be sharing with you the blueprint that we implement. This is a blueprint that we implement regardless if the client is, like we work with iStyle in the United Arab Emirates and across the Middle Eastern region, 5 countries, super complex. We work with mom and pop stores in the US, one employer, or a very nice couple, old couple. We implement exactly the same flows for both in the beginning. That's the foundation, that's what you get started on, and that's what you're gonna get as well. And then it's up to you to personalize it for your business and to grow it. It never stops because it never stops growing. So this is not it. There are no shortcuts to success. I'm sorry to spoil it to anyone, but you're at an AI summit, you've already seen demos where the prompts are not working, agents that are not there yet, and so on and so forth. So there are no shortcuts just yet, no magic ones. So first of all, every time I put it on, so it is a matter of prompting. It is a matter of where you're going to be using those prompts. But it's not only a matter of understanding how to prompt better. You have to have a good understanding of the foundation, of what you're trying to accomplish. And if you don't have an understanding of the foundation, of the type of flows and structures that you can implement, the flows that I'm going to show you now, then you're not going to be able to compose a great prompt because you're not going to know what to ask AI. And every single time when you ask AI, even if it's not like a free ChatGPT account and it's your assistant, for example, if you ask it about email marketing, what you're going to get is set up 3 core flows, welcome flow, abandoned cart, and post-purchase upsell. Maybe you're going to get sunset and win back as well thrown in there. But this is pretty much what LLMs and AI are going to be directing you towards. And unfortunately, it's quite far away from the truth to what fundamental actually is. Structured architecture, of course, it's a process. You're going to have a prompt at the end, very large prompt that you can use in your own AI systems and companies, which is going to be more like an interview first, and then it's going to deliver like the structure that I'm presenting to you right now. But in order to get here, you have to understand the structures in place. And they're not difficult, but you're going to be able to build something like this. Even though it seems complicated, it really is not. It's logic schemes. If you actually want this blueprint, just ping me afterwards and I can give you the draw.io logic scheme. So if you understand what to ask, it can enrich your data, it can enrich your prompt, and you can get a high converting architecture for your business. First things first, foundation. I'll keep this as short as possible so we can move into the flows, but it is important because no AI can save an email that lands in the spam folder. And today, it's easier than ever to make sure that you do have a proper foundation in place, to make sure that you are sending emails, and from a technical perspective, you are okay. And a couple of pointers here. I think it was 2 out of 100 clients in the last 12 months at least that I've spoken with that when we asked them for access to Google Postmaster, they said, sure, here's access. Most of them did Google what? And I was like, okay, I know where we're starting. Google Postmaster is something each and every one of you can set up very easily for yourselves. All you have to do is add a TXT record somewhere. It gives you instructions. You have AI. Just use AI to be like, okay, I need to do this. Tell me what to do. And it's going to tell you. And Google Postmaster is going to tell you if you are compliant. And if you're not, then everything you're sending over to Gmail is not landing in inboxes. It's landing in spam folders. It's landing in promotional folders. And we're shooting ourselves in the foot by having something wonderful built that never gets anywhere. That's one. And 2, you have MX Toolbox, which is another free tool that you can set up for yourselves. And MX Toolbox, first of all, has, again, everything that Google has as well, but a bit more than that. And you can just go through the MX lookup, DMARC, and do the checks for your domain. And if you see anything in there that looks like a problem, just copy it, enter it in ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, DeepSeek, if that's your preference, and then see if you have any sort of how to fix them. Because it's very, very simple. You no longer need a server admin and anything like that. And if you're on the blacklist, don't panic. 1 out of 10 companies actually are on one blacklist one way or another. And all you have to do is, make your case to them. MX Toolbox actually tells you exactly what you need to do, who to contact and what to send them. And show them that you're a real business, show them that you're not a bad spammer. And even if you accidentally did spam at that moment in time, they're still going to give you like 1 chance for redemption. And they're going to take you off the blacklist. Okay, so use these 2 tools on your domain. Scan it. It takes 5 minutes tops. Any question marks, any warnings, any risks that you get, take them to your AI assistant of choice and then find out how to fix them. It's typically just copy-pasting some records in your domain host, and that pretty much solves it. And moving forward into the pre-purchase part of things. This is where things start to get interesting in terms of what do you want to build. But before I tell you about those, I want to say one last thing. The infrastructure where you do email marketing is also very, very important. I removed it because it's only 45 minutes and I cannot deep dive on it. But where are you going to send your emails from? Like normally when you go to do a business email, it's gmail.com or whatever email marketing. If you use Google Workspace, but if you use Outlook, it's Outlook. But for email marketing, you're going to typically need to use an email marketing service, ideally out of the box. And there's like out of the box solutions, and there are custom platform solutions, and there's custom client solutions in place. Our recommendation every single time, regardless of the size of the client, is to use out of the box solutions because they are so great today. Even with, like, our biggest client is Apple. And even with Apple, we and their Apple Premium partners, we still work with a service that is out of the box built and works. Don't build your own, because that's going to be quite difficult to maintain and unreliable. And how do you pick the right service for your business? You first look at your infrastructure, your content management system, your website, and then you look at what systems integrate well with your website. Don't pick based on price, pick based on integration capabilities. So you have the domain authentication, you have the foundation in place, you have the tool in which you're going to be working and which is going to allow you to build emails and logic structures by dragging boxes. You don't have to custom build it. It is at everyone's disposal today. Just find the system for you, for your setup. And then we move into the fun part. The fun part, which is capturing email addresses, because you cannot send emails to people, marketing-related emails to people, without having their consent first, or without identifying them. And then every single action they take on your website or in your app, if you have an app, for example, you convert it into a trigger, and based on that trigger, you send out emails. So first things first, how do you capture email addresses? The most common way to capture email addresses is through pop-ups. No problem. The way to the most common one is through pop-ups, and everybody's doing pop-ups the wrong way, unfortunately. First things first. Rule of thumb: if you're gonna put a pop-up in front of somebody, offer something in return. Never show a pop-up because you're gonna give them the latest and the greatest, because that is a slap on everybody's face. Even I, a marketer, do not want to see pop-ups that don't offer something in return. At least give me a joke. Make my time worthwhile if you're gonna put something in front of me. Number one. Number two, don't show the same pop-up on desktop and mobile. And don't even use the native functionality the services have to make a pop-up work well on both desktop and mobile. Always have separate pop-ups for desktop and for mobile, because once you have your benchmarks in place, you want to A/B split test the experiences on both desktop and mobile, ideally tablets as well. So you want to be able to have multiple pop-ups in the same time. Then, don't use the same pop-ups on every single page of your website. People are going to have a different behavior, and you're going to have a different expectation of your visitors on the homepage versus on the product page. On the home page, maybe you just want them to see like what you do and what your biggest offer of the month. But on the product page, maybe you just spent 20,000 euros on a photo session with your dresses or your makeup or whatever, product that is you're selling, and you have really pretty pictures for your products. What do we do if, we show a pop-up 3 seconds after the person has landed on the product page, and instead of letting them absorb all those images, what we do is we break their concentration. What if it's a difficult product that requires technical information? That can also be a reason to delay or show the pop-up after the user has scrolled. So identify your top pages for the website and create different pop-up experiences for them. Just put yourself in the shoes of the customer. What will I do? What would I do if I wanted to buy this product on the website? And you're going to have generic pop-ups and contextual pop-ups. The generic ones that I just mentioned right now that show up across the entire website, they're going to be dull, they're going to be uninspired, while the ones that have context, because they understand what my expectation is of the user on that page, are going to be much better. They are going to talk about the product. They're going to feel personalized. They're going to feel like I care about the customer's experience, which everybody should, because they foot the bill. And another pretty pop-up, so just go all out. This is not best practice, by the way. Unless you're running an A/B test, you shouldn't do it out of the box. Make pop-ups as simple as possible. Don't complicate them, except for some minor exceptions. Okay, the welcome flow. The welcome flow is, again, because it's super short, I had to compress things, but the welcome flow is the one that is typically generating the vast amount of, not the vast, but the largest amount of automation revenue. Out of those 44.43 million, this year 56% was automation revenue. And out of that, it was 28% welcome email revenue, welcome email flow revenue. And what we typically do for the welcome flow is, what we typically do for the welcome flow email is email number 1 goes out immediately, and it builds a connection between the customer, the subscriber, and the brand itself. What we tell our customers is, give us something personal. Give us something from your warehouse. Give us something from your family. Tell us something about your team, so that we can actually start to build a connection with this new subscriber, because especially if it's not an enterprise level client, they're always most of the times they're gonna have the option to buy your products on Amazon or Frugo or Allegro or whatever other marketplace exists out there, like Temu. So you have the opportunity to start making that connection with your brand at a human-to-human level, not a human-to-machine enterprise level. That's email number 1. Email number 2 is when we start to actually try to understand what are these customers our customers more interested in, seeing the categories, the hot categories that we have, or the hot products that we have. This already starts to help you to understand your customers, because all the other emails, you do need to show them alternatives. But most of the times we show featured products or hot products, because if they were looking at something, then most likely whatever other people are looking at is going to be important as well. So this is discount trap versus brand builder. And one thing about these emails, deliverability, the amount of emails that land in actual inboxes versus spam folders, depends on your sender reputation. Your sender reputation with Gmail, for example, in Google Postmaster, you can see it over there, basically by looking at the charts, at the graphic. But your sender reputation is impacted mainly by 2 KPIs, your open rate and your click-through rate. When you're sending 100 emails and only 2 people open them, that means Gmail can very easily see you're sending spam and you're sending emails that are not interesting to people. So your sender reputation drops. The other part is when you're sending emails and people click on those emails, that's when you actually get the highest boost in reputation with the inbox providers. So why am I saying this? I'm saying this because every email that you send out should not only have the conversion in mind, the revenue the client will generate. Whenever you're going to send an offer, however good that offer is, you may even sell the product with the offer below cost. If 100 people open that email, only a part of them will buy it because the rest don't need the product at that moment in time, but you took 10 or 15 or 20 seconds of their time and you showed them your offer. You have to give them something in exchange. And I'll give you a couple of examples. Maple syrup provider from Canada, we started adding jokes at the very beginning of the email. I admit it was a bit tacky and a bit clickbaity because in the beginning it was the joke there added entirely, but then we added ... and people had to open them. And a couple of months later, the account manager on my team changed for that account, and they were like, why are we adding jokes to emails? This is non-professional, and decided to change it. And the client pinged us and was like, why did you guys stop putting the jokes? Because clients are writing on Facebook. And I was like, okay, let's add it back. Other ideas, just think outside the box. Olive oil producer from the US, we were adding recipes for cocktails and recipes for food with olive oil. Just add things in couture, haute couture, super high premium products. Okay, I launched a new season, I have a new product, or there's a collection that's going on sale, but show people what are other people wearing on, I don't know, Cannes or whatever event out there. Show them what's the color of the season. Give them something useful. They like fashion, they like beautiful products. So use that to your advantage. Show something to them. And typically, this is done very easily by connecting the people that create content for your social media or for your SEO, by the blogs that are being created and so on. They typically are interesting. Just connect the people that do these things with the people that build your emails, because they're going to be able to take information from those other scenarios and just simply add them within the emails. And that's also a great way of having brand cohesion. Okay, so discount wrap versus brand builder. Okay, most important one is the abandonment engine. 9 out of 10 companies that we ever worked with only had basically cart abandonment, when in fact that wasn't even cart abandonment, it was checkout abandonment, and maybe browse abandonment. But there are 5 types of abandonment actions that we consider to be fundamental, that need to be implemented from day 0. And those are site abandonment, browse, search, cart, and separately checkout. They all happen at different stages in time. They all have different opportunities that they present that you can use to gain revenue out of the actions themselves. And I will explain each and every one of them. Site abandon. Site abandon happens when people abandon your website before looking at a product. So they land on your homepage, they land on a landing page. Typically, the traffic in site abandon comes from brand protection campaigns. Most companies have them, companies that don't should have them. But when people search for your brand online, your Google ads should basically show you there so that your competitors don't steal that click and ponytail off your brand. And they land on your homepage. Maybe you have an interesting pop-up and offer and you give them that. Maybe life happens and their lunch break is over and they abandon the session. Maybe they were already a customer, but they just didn't have time to complete it. And you know from the cookies because the system sees them. And they abandoned before looking at a product. Site abandon generated 2% of the email automation revenue we generated for our clients last year. So it's a very small percentage, but it's there. Why not take it? And what we typically do is this. We send out an email in which we try to plant the seed, see what our other customers are saying. Maybe they're uninspired. That's what we typically go by. And we try to raise their interest by bringing in the community. and by showing them what other people are looking at, saying, or want to buy, or show them categories. It really depends from brand to brand. Browse abandon happens when people look at your product page or your service page if you're selling services, and people go to a contact form at the end of the browsing session. So when they look at your product page, but they do not add to cart. What we typically do here is, of course, we want to bring them back to the website, and we want them to add the product to the shopping cart. We show them the product that they abandoned, and we show them, first of all, in the first email, we show similar products, or hot products, or maybe even both if it's like a very large catalog. And in the second email, we show them categories, collections, groupings of products, so we can narrow down what that visitor is actually interested in. If it's not the product, if it's not just the fact that they forgot or something happened, then we want to make sure that we show them other products. And we start working on the social proofing now quite a lot because the intent increases. I had a graph on the workshop with like the intent. How sure are we that the customer is going to make a purchase? And we already start to see bigger intent in browse abandon. So use testimonials, or there's a big difference between testimonials and user-generated content and product reviews. Product reviews are product-centric. Testimonials are something that you can gather 1 or 5 and just reuse them. They are the experience of the customer with your business. And you can gather these from a lot of different sources and use them and reuse them. Browse abandon is the first place where you start to use AI in order to start building affinities. But do not build affinities from day one. Build the automation flows simple, the way I'm presenting them, and only after you've had them run for like 4 weeks at least, so they gather a benchmark of open rate and click-through rate and revenue and etc. Only after that do you want to start implementing logical schemes in them. And I'll give you one example here. So the browse abandonment email is basically going to be standard. Your logo, your standard email template, and the product that they abandoned and other products. But what if you're selling footwear and 80% of your business comes from Nike, for example? Then what we would normally do would be to add a conditional split, is product Nike. If yes, then we take the 2 emails, we clone them, and we personalize them for a Nike brand lover. Which means we even change the colors of that email to match the Nike branding. We keep our logo, it's clear it's us, but we want them to feel at home with Nike. We want them to see the latest products from Nike. We want them to see a quote from the wonderful book that the founder created. We want them to feel at home. So we personalize it. If we have 2 brands that make up 80% of our revenue, then we add another conditional split, which is brand Nike? Yes. If no, is brand Adidas? Yes. If no, we fall back to the emails that we built initially. Then you have, for example, affinities based on categories. What are people buying? This example is from the business that I owned in the US, which was a children's clothing marketplace for special occasion. And 80% of maybe even more than 80% of the revenue came from flower girl dresses. So when people were searching for flower girl dresses, of course, we wouldn't want to show them ring bearer suits. We were excluding items from that experience. We were changing the language, and we were showing specific products. Another way to start building affinities, starting from this moment onwards, is to tag by the buyer, by the visitor. If they're looking at a premium product, they are not going to care about discounts and incentives. They're not going to want to see sale products in the email. They're going to want to see things like lifetime warranty, durability, and one testimonial where a client says customer support was amazing. I returned the product because of this and the problem was solved in 24 hours. This will convert better than 20% off a $500 jacket. We actually tested situations like this and it works. So it's important to use it. Browse abandonment emails, they start to be very simple. We no longer care about let's make these emails as pretty as possible. We want to care about, let's make sure these emails land in inboxes as much as possible. And it's very simple. The more actual physical selectable text an email contains and the fewer images the email contains, the better the deliverability will be. So what we normally do in the fundamental flows in the beginning, we only use like flashy banners and email number 1 from welcome flow and email number 1 from new customer flow. The other ones, we just have like the logos and images of the actual products. We try that. Some clients force us, and their marketing and branding teams force us to use other elements as well because it's part of their identity. But this is what you should do. Search abandon, extremely overlooked. In like 6 years of agency, but 16, 10, 11 years doing email marketing for clients worldwide, I've never found a client that did search abandonment on the website, not even once. Moreover than that, and this is a parenthesis, a lot of companies don't even analyze the on-site search traffic. And what you can do for your business, and it's going to show you immediate ROI, is you can do what we call on-site search optimization. Once a month, look at the top 20 keywords people are searching for on your website and search for them yourselves. What page are they landing on? If someone is on my footwear website and they're searching for Nike, do I want to show them a search results page with products that have Nike in their description? Or do I want to show them the Nike landing page that was only built for that specific purpose? If my visitors are searching for a specific product, do I want to show them search results or do I want to redirect them to the product page directly? So do this exercise for yourselves. It's worth every single penny. And the more you do it, the less work you have to do because the hard work is in the beginning. So search abandonment has to have at least one email. That one email is no search results found. The intent is there. They are searching for something. They want to buy something from you, but they have no search results. At least show them what other people that go to your website are buying. Chances are they may need that as well. Popular products, popular categories. But don't stop there. One really good strategy that we did, and it applies to a lot of businesses, was brand conversion through search results, through search abandonment. And I'll give you one example. Pet manufacturer, pet store actually, huge, 100 physical stores, and we handle the online side of things for them. And pet stores only carry like 4 types of food brands, dog food brands, for example, because they have contracts with them. They get different sort of discounts and so on if they only buy that brand and they don't buy the other brand. And when people are searching for Akana, for example, they're going to pretty much want Akana because their dog is used to that. They're not going to want brand B, which is very, very similar to Akana, maybe even better, maybe even cheaper. So what we can do with these emails is, first of all, pitch them product from brand B. Because we noticed you were searching for Akana on our website, but we don't carry it. But we don't carry it because we don't have it. We don't carry it because we don't want to. We carry brand B because it's better. It has higher protein content and so on and so forth. And furthermore, brand conversion typically is incentivized by the brand owners themselves. So our client, not only did they get brand conversions, they were not even paying for the discounts we were offering because the actual brand B marketing budget was paying for it because they wanted to see people moving from Akana to brand B. So it's a very simple example, brand X looking for brand X, and then brand we don't carry. And moving on to cart abandon. Okay, I'm good with time, finally. Cart abandon. Cart abandon is always mistaken with checkout abandon, or they're taken in together in one. So cart abandon typically happens for one of two reasons. Sometimes it's combined. Reason number one is they use the shopping cart as a wish list, and they're just putting stuff there. Even if you have a wish list, they're still going to use the add to cart button as a wish list, some customers. And other customers are adding the products in there and going to Amazon, Frugo, Allegro, competition to find them at a better price most of the times. But these are reasons that you cannot really control, you want to identify. There is a reason, however, why people abandon the shopping carts that you can control. And that reason is time of day. Our simplest win with cart abandonment, pretty emails, again, super text heavy, product images only. LOL, they had like 20 people in the marketing team. We couldn't convince them not to use these icons. Okay, I don't have I'll tell you what the win is. Email number 1 goes out 1 to 2 hours after the abandonment has happened. But email number 2, it should not go out plus 1 day. Every single account we've ever found that had cart abandonment, it was 1 day after the abandonment event has happened. But some people didn't abandon their cart because of wish list or because they wanted to find it on a different site. They abandoned it because they had to take their kid to school, or lunch break was over, or they're tired at 11:20 in the night and they want to go to sleep. So time of day is a factor you can control. What we normally do, email number 2 goes out 22 or 23 hours after the abandonment event. We want to catch them and their attention 1 to 2 hours before they normally abandon stuff in their cart. And email number 3 goes out 1 to 2 days after email number 1. So we never want to send emails out to people at the time when they typically abandon the shopping cart the first time. And we have some things here, and then checkout abandon. Checkout abandon in e-commerce is when you reach the checkout page, you have the place order button, and everything is done in there, but people don't press the place order button. Because customer acquisition costs are so high, we not force, but we really make a case with our customers, with our clients, to give us an incentive, at least once per customer lifetime. That doesn't sound good, but once per our relationship with the customer, to incentivize the checkout abandon. We don't want to miss an abandoned checkout. They already paid for that customer. Typically, if it's coming through ads and a lot of traffic they already paid for it. So we want to do it, and everything else is pretty much the same with cart abandonment, except that we incentivize and then we put FOMO. We force it as much as possible. One size does not fit all. Split your strategy. I'll keep it very short so I can get to the AI part and then maybe have some questions. Once you have the foundation in place, leave it, let it run for 4 weeks, and use it to use the information you gather to personalize it. Because there's one way in which you will want to talk to a first-time buyer, and there's another way in which you're going to want to talk to a returning customer. And what you have to do, you have the flows built. These systems allow you to add logic schemes into your flows. And you just make a logic scheme in there and you ask it, is a customer placed order equals 1? If yes, then we move into the returning customer. And that's when we start to take care of our customer. We start to tell him about customer support. We start to enforce, call us, we're here to help you. We give them, we start to personalize emails. And very quickly here, be very careful with saying, hey, Stefan, in your emails to people, especially in Europe. Privacy tends to be quite sensitive. Over-personalization can actually impact, and not from a legal perspective, because you have the rights to do it, but customers in Europe and in Canada especially as well, they are not going to want to see, hey, first name in their emails, unless it's a very personal business and there's a relationship with the brand that you want to promote. So don't hyper-personalize, but do have welcome back messaging, for example. And for first-time buyers, social proofing, testimonials, user-generated content as much as possible. Build up the confidence. If you have physical stores, you should show those physical stores every single time you can, on the website, in the header, in the footer, in emails, in every single email. Show the fact that your business exists. If your brand is unknown, then you have to win the confidence of the consumer. And post-purchase, you only have Slido.
No, we don't have any questions from Slido, but maybe someone wants to ask some question. Questions?
I have like 5 minutes.
Yes, you can have 5 minutes.
So either you guys ask me questions and I give you the slides, or I finish the presentation and I give you the slides. Up to you. I'm going to give you the slides anyway. I was going to touch on post-purchase, which is the new customer flow. But if you have questions about your specific businesses, I'm happy to address them. Going once, going twice.
We have one question from Slido. Do you suggest transition emails for sales, transactions emails for sales?
Yes, super question. There's actually a quick win there as well. So transactional emails, new customer account, new order, new shipment, new credit memo, forgot password. These are transactional emails. You don't need marketing consent to send them out. And there's one thing you can do with them.